empty rum bottles and sometimes Louis says hi. Hey, Louis. But you don't get no hurries and don't have no worries, cause we're drunk donkey nationwide. Everybody now. Flies where the page. You know he'll be tracking every move that makes. You know it's flies where the page. You know he won't let us all get blown away. Did I ever tell you the story of the drunk donkey? Once upon a time, there was this weather woman. You can come as a pilot, stay kind of quiet, but you know you love watching mice fade. So put your cone head shirt on, watch it live on your phone, and drink drunk donkey beer all day. You got it. Mike's grab the page. You know he'll be tracking every move that makes. You know it's Mike's grab the page. You know he won't let us all get blown away. Is that Blobby Bobby? I think that's Juicy Jerry. Yeah, Mike, throw a party, man.
All right, what's up? Anybody dancing? Here's my little Chevy. What's happening, everybody? One Wednesday here, and going to talk some weather with everybody. Hope you're doing well on this Wednesday morning. It is July 31st, last day of July today, August 1st tomorrow. Where does the time go, right? Where in the world do these days and months go? School's going to be starting here in 12 days here in Pinellas County. 12 days! Unbelievable. We are getting into August, so crazy. Well, we were live last night. We were live a couple nights now talking about our little area. We're going to talk about our little area now. Not much has changed. There's no need to worry anybody. That's number one. Be aware. I am still in a level number 2, cautiously curious. Level number 1 is keeping one eye on it. I forgot what I said for my third. Does any diehards remember what I said 3 days ago? It was a good one for level number 3. But yeah, we were all dancing this morning, so. But it's good to have you. Social media, we're up to 2.5 million now. We really appreciate it. Started that back in 2016. As soon as Facebook started letting us stream, we were one of the first on it during Hurricane Matthew. And been here ever since. Now we're on Facebook, YouTube, X, and Instagram, and TikTok, and all that good stuff. And we have our own private mwpchat.com for all our supporters. Thank you very much, Cat 1, Cat 5s. You make it possible for me to do what I love. Talk tropics 24 hours a day sometimes. So we're going to go into this little setup here and what the heck's going on. I got all the latest modeling and maps, and we're going to show you what I think and where we're at and what we could see and all that stuff. So be patient. Be patient. Danielle, I'm going to do a little graphic. I got to come up with my 3, 4, and 5. Jason Sutton's over there at Sturgis. Look at that. They got a big Furman trailer out there. So if you know anybody at Sturgis that needs a Furman generator discounted really good, they're out there right now. Big old party out west, right, Jason? What's up, Mookie? Hey, Mookie, guess what I signed yesterday, man? 1 more year. All right, buddy? Hope you're doing good, man. All right, our Daily Brew brought to you by our good friends at ABC Fine Wine and Spirits. We have a lot of great supporters. They've been one of my longest supporters here in Florida, the official party store of hurricane season. Florida looks like they're going to be impacted one way or another this weekend, either with rains, with winds, with waves, maybe more Panhandle should be watching close as always. So yeah, ABC is going to be your official place to go as this thing is on everybody's mind. What's brewing? What's cooking? Is it nothing? Is it something? We're fixing to find out real soon. It's Wednesday. Only a couple more days. And we're going to know real soon, right? You get a raise, Mookie. All right, let's look at what we're looking at. This would be this guy right here. This is what we're looking at. There you go. New cone came out this morning. That is not the track cone. So much confusion. I've never seen more confusion than I have this year with this thing. This is not the 3-day cone. This is not the 5-day cone. This is where the National Hurricane Center thinks that the development could happen in that orange area, okay? That's anywhere from the west coast of Florida, Eastern Gulf, or the Atlantic. That's where the National Hurricane Center says we could see some sort of development. Not expected until at least maybe Thursday at the earliest tomorrow, but Friday maybe. So anyway, Megan, this is actually Hunter. He looks just like his big brother. Jordan, yeah, he has little snores. Good morning, Jamie. Miss Bobby Blobby, yep, that zone has been over Florida for an eternity. The whole month of July we've been watching this thing. What's up, Judith? Yeah, man, Bobby Prince, this is taking forever. Well, why put your head up? You're so proud. Put your head down. Look at the camera. Chris got a Frenchie? Oh, man, I'm Frenchie for life. I love it, for sure. Danny Lynch, good morning. What's up? Everybody saying hi, Hunter. Draco Machine, good to see you, man. Thanks for watching. I'm going to go. I got a lot of graphics ready for you to look at. Richard Castro, flights are, I don't know, man. Flights in Florida being canceled seems slim right now. So Tabletop Greek, people sold out of water in the Carolinas already. Well, it's been a long time since y'all had a system, right? ECE kind of clipped y'all about the same time frame, right? Several years ago. So, anyway, Hunter's just loving life right now. He definitely is a daddy's boy. Look at this guy, man. Watch. He'd probably just fall asleep right here if I let him. Look, you just want to go to sleep right here? We have the only Frenchie that purrs. Oh, we did kiss him, Mary. All right, so let's talk about it. So we got a really sloppy system, okay? There's nothing to stress about right now. This thing... little history with this thing, let me just tell you how we've been tracking this thing. It had to be June 20th or July 20th, about 10 days ago. We were watching a system that was going to be somewhere around here, the 25th, 26th. Well, then all of a sudden we got an X here, but the real system was here, which was this system. So this little guy's been swinging around, and the X that we were kind of watching wasn't the real deal. It was this mid-level feature. So this mid-level feature now is all the way in the northern part of the islands, and it's starting to look halfway bubbly on satellite, but that does not mean anything. Chances are 60%. And again, anywhere in this area is where it's expected to develop. So it's not expected to develop anywhere in this arrow, only in the orange area. But this is what it looks like. We've been tracking it since December, Billy. Yeah. Drinking the official coffee, Mountain to Sea, Chad Robbins. Maybe Shelly will throw the link up there. All the money goes to disaster relief. Good friends of ours. Big MWP crew supporter. So cheers, everybody. Grab your coffee cups. Notice a lot of convection this morning. It's been kind of fun watching this thing progress. It was a big dry air of nothing, and now we're getting a lot of lightning. This is lightning. Lightning doesn't mean anything. It just means it's lowering pressure slowly. But that's quite a bit of convection, believe it or not. It's, it's a big, large area. And these take time. Time is the biggest thing not on its side right now. And that's been the theme for the last week. These things need time. It can have all the most favorable conditions ahead of it, but it doesn't have time to tighten up, it appears, in the next couple of days at least. And we'll get into all the conditions ahead. I want to show you all the models before we lose everybody. But that's a lot of lightning. We got a lot of people watching down the Virgin Islands and, the Lesser Antilles, Windward Islands there, Puerto Rico, getting some lightning. It's nothing to stress about down here. That's just, tropical rains. Here's a better look at it. This is a water vapor loop. And, man, just remember a couple days ago it was yellow. As a matter of fact, I wonder if I don't crash Chrome here. We can go back 240 frames here. Let's pull it up. Look at this progression. It's phenomenal. This is phenomenal. Look at this. This is the wave we were kind of watching, or that was the wave that was X'd. This was the upper level disturbance that came across that ended up picking up our wave. Now watch this. Big old swirl of nothing, right? And it was really crazy to see this thing happen. Are we going to get it to play? It's trying to load everything up. It's a big file. Let's see if it loads. But this was crazy to see the progression of this thing. Now watch. Starting to spin, right? Watch our wave down here. We have moisture to the north. This is going to help feed down into this. Look at it. We started seeing a couple pops of storms, right? Look at that. A few pop, 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 pop. And then we had a little break in satellite. This was yesterday. Look at that. Pop, 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 pop. And look, watch this dry air just disappear. And there we are today. Look at that. Lots of convection now that we did not have is like a day and a half ago. Crazy. That's moisture, right? It all fed down into it. And the other thing to note is this yellow is disappearing, which is dry air. So one of the factors that are favoring this thing to try to organize is that it's entering an area now that's all moisture. There's very little dry air. It's sloppy, but there's all this moisture pumping down into this thing. And, we'll start to look for signs of development now. But the dry air is just about gone. And look at this thing really trying to get going. But, clumps of clouds and convection does not mean development. And I'm going to show you why. So I did this graphic this morning. It's kind of where we're at with the models. We have two schools of camps on thinking, thus the big area from the National Hurricane Center. The Euro icon, so we have a wave here, somewhere around here. We'll be having a wave on Friday. The Euro, the icon, CMC breaks this wave off and it brings it up around and tries to develop it around the strong, Bermuda high. Now, GFS is back to halfway reality now. The UK had this idea from day one, and this KMA model, which has been pretty good last year, so I'm showing it, has this West Coast feel to it. And I'm going to show you the latest 6Z Euro, which is maybe putting some sort of that breaking off and becoming what we might be tracking here. So it's complicated. It's very complicated. But this West Coast vibe for Florida has always been there. It windshield wipered to the East Coast. But we have some chances that this wave might break off, get pushed over to the Gulf side. So we're going to look at both of these scenarios. The bottom line is no development until maybe here. Doesn't give it a lot of time to be too strong here. Okay, so the chances for lower southeast for anything too significant seems low. Now, obviously this area and this area we need to watch because a day or so over water, things could happen. And this would be more like Sunday into Monday into Tuesday. So Sunday, Monday, maybe Tuesday if it goes up towards the Carolinas and maybe even northward. So just that extra day over water would allow a little bit more. Okay? So that's where we're at. I'm going to show you all these models here in a little bit. So patience on that. Now here's the infamous weathernerds.org spaghetti models. I share these a lot. These are our ensembles. Now, number one question I'm getting to this storm is, where are the spaghetti models? Well, this is not an INVEST, okay? An INVEST is an investigative area that the National Hurricane Center designates when they believe it has a true center. Once they get a true center, they would import those coordinates to models, and the models would start running spaghetti models based on those coordinates, okay? Then we get the HMON, the HWRF, the HOS-A, HOS-B. We get hurricane-specific modeling. We get all kinds of tools at our disposal. We get a lot more data to look at, and that hopefully comes today. But we need a true center, and right now the models are struggling on where this thing might actually develop. But the Euro on the bottom, these are ensembles. These are all the different members of the actual Euro. And it's had a really strong east bend, really close to Florida, with a turnout really close to the Carolinas. We had a shift a little more into the Carolinas yesterday, and the overnight shift is back. So we're doing this windshield wiper thing going on. But notice, even though the intensity is always pretty tough to predict with these operational runs, we're still seeing strengthening over that Gulf Stream in the Atlantic. So we need to worry if anything were to pop, here or here, strengthening, as it would have more time over water. So right now there's no modeling showing a major hurricane. So that's good news. But I never say it's only tropical storm or only Cat 1, because we saw that with Beryl. A lot of damages with only a Cat 1. So that's that stinking. Now the Euro has been really east-sided weight, but the GFS here is starting to get a few more members here, and we're getting a few here. So GFS has kind of come around to thinking both ways. Still not a high confidence on the GFS ensembles. So, but I'm going to show you the operational runs and go from there. So, hey, Captain Danny on IG, appreciate that. Mitch, we'll talk about the high pressure. Why is it taking so long? Well, Jazzle, is it? I think it's because, honestly, the X was marked on that one tropical wave. In reality, should have been watching the mid-level wave racing in from the east. So that's been coming along at normal speed. So I think it's because that X was locked down there right there by the islands for days, and it didn't move. In reality, it was this upper level feature that was coming that now we're watching. So there's your ensembles anyways. All right, what else I got put up here? So I posted this last night. I don't even think this is real land mass. I just put this reminder out. We could be seeing a case where we get a potential tropical cyclone if the modeling suggests, any sort of chance Florida, for example, or the Bahamas could get anything. They issue these 48 hours out. So 48 hours from today would be Friday morning. Probably not going to happen. But by tonight or tomorrow morning, Thursday morning, there's a chance that if they think we might have, even a tropical storm, we would start seeing these PTC advisories. So this is just a good graphic I wanted to share explaining when they issued tropical storm watches, for example, even though we don't have a system that's named yet. So, if this thing starts to materialize today and tomorrow, then we might see a PTC if it organizes. So that's why I posted that. I think it's really worth it. I need to put that on my website too, by the way. I need to find a spot for it. All right, so I drew this out this morning. This is our blob of moisture, and this is the general track that the models are taking it. Some are, obviously more to the northwest. Some are actually going through Haiti and Cuba, splitting the gap there, plopping on the other side of Cuba almost. So we're going to show you that. This is where it should be Friday. And that was just more to let everybody know kind of the time frame. So we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. And then 2 schools of camp here. What could happen. But it's a good image too to show the moisture map is really starting to moisten up. Now this one I shared this morning too. You probably wonder, what the heck does that mean? Kitchen, more links. I did add one link today, Shelly. So, sloppy blobby. I like sloppy blobby. Water temps, yes. We could do that. Water temps. We are going to show water temps, 100%. You should be an invest today. Gino, they need a center. So OBX should be looking good. Bermuda, not yet really concerned about Bermuda. There you go. So good morning, Cheryl. No spinach yet, Mike. Exactly. So what is this map? All right. Well, we use this Null School map a lot. I love it. You can set the different parameters for different levels of the atmosphere. And typically, you need to see low level spinach in order for any sort of invest to take shape. And these trade winds that have been driving this mid-level feature across the Atlantic are strong. And there's no sign of any rotation. So that's your 850. Circled the same area. Maybe a little bump in the 500 millibar, but nothing. So nothing. And that's good news for slow development. These things don't just over the course of a few hours turn into nothing to something. So it takes time for these things to actually develop a low level circulation. Sometimes they have to slow down and react to a steering change. That's why I believe that we're seeing development more into Friday on approach. So as of now, we don't see any spinach is the bottom line on that graphic right there. All right. Oh, last but not least, I'll put this up. It doesn't really pertain to anything we're talking about now, but this one just came out yesterday. It's a new global tropics hazards map, and it's pretty common sense. The next 2 weeks, they got areas highlighted in the Atlantic. So if we're going to get 22 more storms, that's the official forecast from Colorado State. 22 more named storms. 22 more storms. They better start popping, or we're going to run out of weeks. So I think this is just kind of covering the bases here that we could see something. If you're wondering about that, because I've already seen a lot of people hyping this up. But common sense will tell you we got areas to watch all through October now. And my buddy Dennis says Floridians will have a lot of cone color in the state. And by the way, Dennis and I are good buddies. We are really close. I just laugh when I go to his page and the amount of people that bash me over there. But it's real important to talk about modeling here. I'm going to sip some coffee and some Red Bull. And we're going to go through all the models here in just a second. So here's my new link, by the way. Let me show you. I got a new link alert for Shelly and everybody else. Super duper zoomed. Super duper zoomed, right? I like this one. Watch. Because I always look for it, so I went ahead and put a link. This is massively humongous. It even has the... look at that. If you want some incredibly zoomed in imagery, there you go. It is massive. It's like, I don't even know how to make it smaller. That's like crazy, but I think it's cool. So we can get some high resolution imagery if that's what you want. Super duper zoomed. There you go. And there's our wave. And it's hauling booty. Let me tell you what. That wave that came across, That thing is so little. I got it so zoomed the page marker won't even show up. But this little wave is going to be hauling booty. That's why Friday, it's not that far away. It's going to take time, man. I tell you, I'm sticking to it. Time is not on its side, even though it has a lot of other things possibly going for it. So anyway, all right, let me get some coffee here and get a vibe what everybody's talking about. And we'll go from there. So, a lot of flight questions. I don't think any flights are going to be canceled as of yet, at least in the Florida Peninsula. Cruises have a miraculous way of avoiding these things. So I wouldn't suggest making any cancellations. If it was me, I'd just be watching in real time and just be aware that something could pop. And no stress at this point. If I saw models showing a Cat 5 heading somewhere or Cat 4, I'd be a little more concerned. But as of now, we're not seeing that. But Barrow already had great question, Mark Piercy. Great question. So we, I hope people follow me more than just now, because I try to have the same messaging over the course of time. But over the years, when we see I call it a Cape Verde seed. Barrel had circulation when it exited and was below the Cape Verde Islands. And over the years, I've seen anytime a system has that circulation on exit, they're ones to watch. And I shared yesterday, I'm not going to show it today, but the last night video that I played showed that around June 26th, the modeling suggested that around July 1st and 2nd, intensity for the islands, the Windward Islands, were only going to be around 991 to 998. That was 6 models. 6 models around June 26th only had a pressure around 991 at the lowest. But it hit the islands at a Cat 4. So it was more of a way to say you don't turn your back on storms that have circulation. That's when they can get going, rapid intensification. But we need circulation for that to happen. And every day that goes by, the less likelihood of that going to happen, at least in the lower southern U.S. And that's just, you got to have it. Barrel had it. This one doesn't have it. In my experience, too, these mid-level systems take forever to develop a low-level circulation, especially when they're hauling booty. As Daryl Waltrip would say, boogity, boogity, boogity. Senior Frogs, who's talking about that? Oh, God, Bob Parrish. That's my favorite. That's Emily's favorite place to go. We will go to Cozumel just to go to that Senior Frog. We think that's the best Senior Frogs we've ever been to, the one in Cozumel. Hey, dude, somebody asked about our coffee. That's great. All right. Potential storm never developed, Tara? I think given the fact that we have the whole Atlantic and the upper Gulf, yes, there's definitely going to happen. So, all right. Here we go. Let's show you the latest modeling here. I want to show you first tropicaltidbits.com. And again, there's no spaghetti models because we don't have an invest yet. A lot of people frustrated. Where are the spaghetti models? There's no spaghetti models yet. So what we always do, we put up the operational runs. These are the main runs for years everybody uses. Let's start out with the Euro. The Euro's usually king. It was not king with Barrel. But here's what we got. Here's Friday, big old blob of rain going into Saturday. And we're going to have a tropical wave. The Euro, right here, there's going to be a tropical wave. And it's picking off this piece here and shooting it off that way. So that's been the theme of the Euro, and it's still doing it. Really close to Florida. Now, This is Saturday into Sunday. We get a system off on the east coast of Florida. It could pull moisture inward away from the west coast. So the forecast is not set in stone with rains. Now on approach, most of the modeling are showing Friday night at the earliest, Saturday, South Florida. But as this thing starts to move northward, it could actually limit the rain chances for a lot of folks. But anyway, the latest Euro, really close to the East Coast, keeping it just off as it has been. And it develops it as it goes off the sea, northeast, okay? So that's just that one run. People asking about Bermuda. It looks like it's going to no modeling has it going to Bermuda at all. So that's the Euro. We've seen signs that the high could get a little stronger and it go a little more west. This is just one run. But people like to see the latest. Last night's 18s, or yesterday's 12Z, almost the same. Now, we just had a 6Z run. It only goes out 90 hours. And it looks sloppy. It's terribly sloppy. This is Saturday. But what's interesting here is, and I'll get into it, weaker goes west. Let's just remember that. Weaker goes west. Later development, South Florida into clear as far as anything too strong, into Bahamas. But if this thing follows what the GFS is thinking, then we might have Gulf action possibly. Nothing's official with any of this stuff, but it's going to be real interesting which piece of energy breaks off and dominates. But it looks like the 6Z could be trying to set up some sort of lower western vorticity to try to break away, and we'll see. But again, South Florida, this is not developed. Could see squall lines, feeder bands, could see isolated tornado coming in off the Atlantic. August 4th is a new moon, so yes, this will increase the tides, but we're talking about South Florida for right now. All right, the latest GFS has been all over the place, but the theme now is becoming a little more realistic. It's breaking off a little piece below Cuba here and starts to try to develop it as it goes north. Kind of stalls it out, but then it pulls it away. But, weaker goes west, gets pulled up into the Gulf, then all bets are off. But that's the latest GFS. It's been kind of consistent showing that. It had that weird run where it bounced over to Texas, but it's kind of thinking the weaker goes west with some development. So it just unfortunately we got two models completely opposite and keeping both sides of the peninsula watching. The latest Icon showing the same thing, late development, maybe a little bit of trying to develop here Saturday into Sunday, crosses the state, and maybe gets going here in the Atlantic. So sloppy. Canadian, there's your low on Saturday morning. It's kind of back to a little bit of West Coast riding. Again, this is not organized 10-10, but it would bring rain. It would bring tropical feeder bands. And then it gets caught up in this front line and crosses over and maybe bringing some action to the East Coast. So, and all these models are showing the same thing. There's a front line coming in here. Look at that. There's a front. This is on, Saturday into Sunday. That's going to lift and turn. The Euro showing the same thing. Front line. So the front line's coming down. Same thing that's lifting this thing and turning this thing is going to, So are you worried? I don't see anything here to get worried about. Here's the Euro AI, and it's kind of trended a little bit to that West Coast with, some crossover. This is Saturday and Sunday. Nothing's really organized. A little weak, low pressure. But the theme that I'm seeing from last night is a weaker, longer developing system. Weaker systems go west, and we're seeing equal modeling now on the west coast of Florida, which could up the rains and storms. Development, huge question, but there's that high. This is the EIEIO. We did have a model called the Euro EIEIO. If I had a model, it'd be the MWP EIEIO model. But I almost said it again. This one is a little bit to the west side. So, and again, nothing to get stressed up about, but we are seeing this slow down a little bit, blocking pattern. Here's the deal too. What's happening? Totally understand what's going on here. Friday, we have a weakness. We have a strong high pressure system. Stronger system would tend to want to go this way, curve, split that gap, right? Problem that we're seeing is this, and this is what the GFS was kind of doing yesterday. This thing stays weak, it goes a little west, and then it turns. This high merges with this high, and now we don't have a door anymore, and it slows down and just kind of hangs out a little bit because high pressure blocks. So, the GFS could have been onto that yesterday. I showed it. It showed incredibly heavy rains up in the upper Gulf because of a blocking pattern. The KMA did that. So that is a developing possibility. But the things that are consistent for the last week, don't think that this is like confusing everybody. Taking time to develop, large, broad, low pressure system will take time. And timing is this weekend. Those are definites. But, I do think it's important to note that this, look at the EI motor, Euro AI, stalls it out, and then it whips it back around and brings it up, finally finds a gap. So we could be on to some sort of stalling thing here going on. This would be Monday. Look at this high, kind of a blocking pattern comes into play. So the GFS yesterday, let me show you what the GFS did. What run was that yesterday? The 6Z maybe? I can't remember now. We've had so many of these random GFS runs. You can see what the GFS has been doing. It goes up, stops, and then it had to bounce back to Texas. Maybe it wasn't so wrong after all. But here's, the GFS 12Z stopped, goes back to Texas. So, golly, it's been really consistent. Really consistent with that idea. Total precipitation, with the, I'm trying to find that one run that it actually just stalled out there, but I don't know when the heck it was. We get so many of these runs anymore, they all blend together to me. But these are the GFS rainfall totals. There's the big one. So this was 2 days ago. The GFS showed it just stalling. And yellow, man, that's 10 inches of rain. So the GFS had it come up, just kind of stop, then get lifted off. So crazy scenario, but definitely interesting to keep that cautiously curious. So what does all that mean? Well, here's what it means. Nothing's really changed. This is the area that they expect development, okay? And that would mean development into a tropical depression. We have modeling going on the east coast of Florida, getting close there. We have modeling going over here as a weaker system, possibly getting caught up into some high pressure and slowing down a little bit, giving it maybe a little time to develop. So, nothing's really, we showed the west coast of Florida like last week, and there was a lot of models doing it. But anyway, there's that. Let me show you a couple other models here I'm kind of curious about. So this is the UK. And the UK has been showing this little jog west before it tries to get going. It's only 39 knots, nothing to get worked up about. But the idea is it's splitting that gap a little bit right along Cuba, and then it gets off into the Gulf, and then possibly, curves up, and it kind of stalls. So that's kind of a new thing that we're watching here, is that if it goes weaker west, it misses that gap, and we're starting to see a high pressure really starting to build in. That's the latest UK. Elena, who remembers Elena? Hurricane Elena. Elena. The last few UKs, here's the 00Z. I was showing you the wrong one. That was a 12Z. Same thing. Actually, it goes a little bit farther. God, then it really slows it down. There's the latest UK. This is Saturday. This is Sunday. This is Monday. So it still would be like a Monday-ish. Sunday, Monday-ish right here. Monday morning. But that would give it time to, get a little more organized. That was the last two. The latest 00Z is actually this one. Then yesterday's was more there. And then 24 hours ago, the UK was there. So there's that. And the other model we've been showing on this side is the KMA. I just show it because it did fairly well last year, and it's kind of showing you that whole thinking too. And the key is right here. This is where we're watching right here. Wherever this thing decides to break off, then, and that's the wave. These are breaking off a little bit down by Cuba. We go to the latest Vorticity here on tropical tidbits. You can see a little bit of wave. Remember yesterday the surface charts were showing our possible system somewhere right here? Well, the GFS is riding it down here, and that's what's allowing this thing to move on up. And if you look at the latest Euro, you're kind of seeing a little bit almost the same, but you can start to see a little piece trying to break off there. So it's all what happens right here on Friday. But the good news for the East Coast, Carolinas, we had a little trend more around that Bermuda high. But again, trend, here's the latest Euro EPS, and majority of the European are still just off the coast of the East Coast. A couple of them, a couple weak ones get into the Gulf. And what's interesting, if we look at these two schools of camp, we got a majority of them here, and we got a few over here now in the Euro ensembles. These over here are stalling out. See that? So it does seem like if anything gets over here, it's going to stall out. These are going to get on out of here because we got a high pressure building back in. So the Euro is actually showing that on a few of its ensembles. But East Coast equally watching the same as yesterday. We go to Weather Nerds. We did see a shift back east again. Yesterday we had a shift west. So we're doing the classic east-west windshield wiper effect. These are on weathernerds.org. You can loop them. I don't know if these are. Do we have 8? These are. Do we have 60 yet? No. Well, maybe we do. Ooh, we do. All right, here's your 6Zs. These just came out. All right, so these are 6Z. These ones just came out on the Euro. Again, majority of them turning. Getting, enough to watch close on the East Coast. Then we have a couple scragglers going weaker west. So the Euro's no big changes. Let's see what the 6Z Euro GFS says. Let's take a looky here, see if it's run yet. Let's see, model cycle 6Z. Yes, it did. All right, let's loop it. Oh God, I didn't mean to hit zoom out. Then it goes back to the US, so we got to go back. And we'll zoom in. Let's see how many ensembles. So even though the operational run is showing, Eastern Gulf, Eastern Gulf. Oh, I got that right. I can't believe it. Let's see what the old GFS 6Z ensembles say. Yeah, it kind of shifted more to the Gulf. Not a lot of confidence, but we definitely have two camps here. We have weaker west Gulf, a little stronger Atlantic curve. So the reason this one's so tricky, is we're tracking a mid-level sort of a system that has no center. And my experience tracking these storms, mid-level systems are just impossible to figure out initially until we have a true low-level circulation. Now look at this. That's a big bubble. That's a big bubble of circulation there, or convection. So it's trying, but that is, again, this is not the center. That's just convection, and that's being fueled by these strong easterlies. But it's just showing you that there's moisture in the atmosphere, and you can look at the old school 850 maps here. This is from the day one, these maps right here. Here's your broad 850 area. So there's really no exact area where we have any low-level spin. A little more than I thought, actually, right there between the islands northward. 500 is where you need to start seeing some stacking going on. And that's pretty much exactly where the NHC has their X, just east of the Virgin Islands. This is the 500 level vorticity. And this is where you normally would start to see low level react to that. Now, conditions ahead currently, we don't have a lot of wind shear. Let me show you. I know this map's hard to see, but this path right here, there's not a lot of wind shear. 15, couple areas of 20, so it's not terribly bad. Tendency is decreasing. It's hard to see, I know, but right here, a little bit of decreasing wind shear. We talk about the water temperatures. Let me show you what's going on with that. I've shared this morning. This is incredible to me because I've been tracking this. This is your anomaly map. 30-year anomaly map. Let me show you the other one here. So we had this upper level low last week digging down and absolutely cooled the waters. It was crazy. We had we had hot water, and then we had cold water. Well, your 7-day change here, 7-day change is now this. And this meaning there's 7-day rain or 7-day water temperature change showing it got warmer in the last 7 days, and now we're back to this, which our anomalies are back above normal. So we had this blue coloring here, is what I'm getting at, but it's gone because that feature is gone, and now the warm water has risen up from the below the surface, and we have warmer ocean heat content now. So all this is reasons, that this could really start to bubble. Brian McNulty's site here, we got an updated OHC map here for ocean heat content, and we scroll down to the Caribbean, and we had a big uptick here in the last couple days, right here. So the water temps are now above 2023 again, and typically where they are the peak season, October. That's usually when the water's the hottest. So the water temperatures where we're looking at basically are thinking that it's October. That's the ocean heat content, warm water below the surface. And so that's a little bit extra fuel. The other thing that's rolling in the picture here is this MJO, and this is August 4th. August 4th, green. This wave is coming in over, and usually when we get the green, the MJO, Kelvin wave, lower velocity, lower shear, more uprising of storms, we get things popping. And that's one other favorable condition in the next day. So we're likely to see a lot of convection heading towards the weekend, which could bring those rain totals up that aren't being predicted right now. There's your MJO sliding in. Blue is MJO anomalies. So that's another factor. Warm water, that shear ahead looks pretty light. Let me show you that right here. I had this open up, I believe, and that's Korean. Let's look at the shear forecast. Shear is expected to remain on the lower side historically and at the time. So here is your Caribbean shear layer for Friday, and you can pretty much see blue is almost nothing to worry about. And as we get into Saturday, if our system were to be over here somewhere, it's going to have almost an anti-cyclone set up with light winds above, and that would allow this thing to actually try to develop on its trek northward. So we don't really want to see this thing do that, because it definitely opens up a whole new can of worms, possibly into the end of the weekend, early week. But anyway, shear's going to be light. Here's your anomaly map over the 30-year average. And white is normal, greens is below normal. So basically, all this area is below normal wind shear for this time of year. So that's one factor too. But time is the one factor that it can't overcome in the short term. So that's why watching real time the next day, today's Wednesday, by tomorrow morning, it's got 2 days to enter the Bahama area or Cuba. And remember, the eastern part of Cuba is very mountainous. Hispaniola is very mountainous. This thing takes a trek, this way, then it's got a lot of mountains, and that'll slow development chances. But, there's going to be a wave axis somewhere here. And does this break off and go that direction, or does that break off and go that direction? So very interesting. And you know what? I'm not making that up, because look, if you look at the official 8 a.m. map from National Hurricane Center, they're pretty much showing the same thing. Anywhere here we can see some sort of development, west coast, east coast. So that's not hyping anything, I hope you realize. So hopefully today's it's an invest. I just don't see any center. What they might do is just kind of guess based on where they see this tropical wave activity happening. I think I read that might head in there tomorrow, the hurricane hunters, Thursday maybe. So, can I link the N8C? What do you mean? Link? Anyway. Good morning, Mr. Dave Waters. What's up, Robin? What's up, Margaret Fortenberry? Are you related to Kim and Jenna? Softball friends? Jennifer, not expected to form anywhere until that orange area. So not for another couple days. Morning, Jose. Puerto Rico, going to get some rain. You're already getting rain in Puerto Rico out of this thing. So, Brandy, right? Greg, did Julie get you squared away? Greg, when you text that number, did you get a text back? If you did, you got to click that little link and you got to fill it out. We need more links, Brandy, right? All right, so Keith, I do believe a PTC is possible. You know, let's say it's looking a lot better tomorrow. It's staying north of Hispaniola. We could see some PTCs issued as early as tomorrow for possibly Florida, but you know, I'm seeing less obviously chances of anything too significant, at least in the lower half, as this thing's taking its time to try to develop. I guess the big change is this whole West Coast idea has not been dropped, and you know, models are tricky. You know, tropics are tricky. So that's about it. I mean, I can't make anything up. We're not making anything up. I'm not gonna make things up. I'm not gonna wishcast. That's the facts. It's taken longer than we thought. I will admit. Models were latching on to that initial wave, I believe, and they were developing it a lot quicker. So we saw some pretty aggressive modeling, which I share because that's what we do, and it's taken its time, and that's reality. So I don't, one thing I hope I'm consistent about is I don't, if it's not going to show it, I show it. If it's going to show it, if it's going to do it, I show it. If it's not going to do it, I show it too. So hopefully the level is the same. I don't just post it when it looks like worst case scenario. So, but it's very interesting to me, watching real time. I guess the big shocker for me this morning was waking up and seeing this convection. I was very impressed with the convection this morning. I didn't expect to see that so quick. But again, I tune on the old weather map, windy map, and realize that we don't have any circulation. So we have broad circulation, but nothing yet showing enough to get worked up about. So remember, typically a stronger system will try to tug to the north side. If you were to guess where the actual, circulation is, it's actually somewhere right here. And, you can kind of see a little bit of rotation coming in. I mean, watch these clouds here. A little bit of northerly winds coming in into this, So it's kind of showing some signs of possibly kind of consolidating, possibly. But, not today. Not going to happen today. Not today. Greg wants it now. Shelly wants a plant alert. I got some cool barbecue stuff. I'm going to show everybody tomorrow when the storms roll out. But anyway, Ed, if you're wondering, I did get your package. Thank you. And I did get a nice letter from Mr. Gable, too. So I'm going to mention that down the road. Let's see. Don't forget a couple things I want to thank here. 30% off, free shipping right there. Our great buddies Furman. So many of our fans are getting these. Click on that link and you get 30% off free shipping. Man, we have had so many people convert to Furman. They're a great company. We love them to death. We got Tammy at OSR. They're going to be the first ones on the scene. Big thanks to Direct Remodels here in Florida, along the middle part of our state. They do hurricane windows. They're big fans of ours, John and Dan. Big hurricane followers like I am, and they want to, 40% off for our people. They wanted to do something special. That's huge. We appreciate that. We got Lodging Solutions. They'll be the first ones on the ground, setting up base camps for everybody when the linemen come to town. Coastal Claims will be the first ones on the ground, helping folks with insurance, mooring, disaster restoration. Brian and crew, they did an amazing job out in Texas, helping so many people out. They're a disaster restoration company. We have so many great supporters done right here locally. Support Emily's softball program, and in the Pasco, Pinellas, and Hillsborough area if you need any roofing. But just click on these links. They support me, and I really appreciate it. There you go. So, all right, listen. Hey, look at that. LC got a Furman dual fuel. You got to love it. And people get mad. Let me tell you, if you're mad that I did that, go somewhere else, because I'm not a paid meteorologist. I do this from 5 in the morning to 11 o'clock at night. I love it. I would do it for pennies. I did it for nothing. I'm excited that we have supporters now. I invest a lot of time and money and, doing what I do. So, show me anybody that isn't paid by, corporate, that doesn't have commercials or whatnot, or advertise merchandise or what that. So I do get kind of pissed off, and you might get banned. So, people expect that I shouldn't have support, and that kind of ticks me off. So I don't lose any sleep over it. I can tell you that much. And I did not thank my local company last night. We do have a tropical depression. Tropical depression from TVBC. And I did not open it last night. If you watched last night's live, I didn't open it yet. Well, I probably can't open it now because I just shook it. But anyway, all right, listen, we'll maybe be live tonight. No promises, Shelly. But I will be doing a little 90-second reel here in a minute. We've been an hour. No huge change. Just watch close. No worries. This thing's developing, taking its time. And I wish it was easier. I wish you can't make a guts call on something that's not even there yet. You just have to keep all possibilities open. And I show you shifts, and we're seeing, it's not 100% guarantee this thing's out to sea. And that's been the theme for the last 3 days. So, and then we'll have another one. We got 22 storms yet to come, according to Colorado State University. Even if we have 18 more, it's August 1st tomorrow. Either we're going to be rocking and rolling with 5 storms at a time, or the seasons will be a bust. But everything I don't know. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Again, thanks for watching. We're going to keep the Brew crew going, our Cat 1, Cat 5s. We're going to chit-chat. So if you got any questions over there, let me have them. See you tomorrow, 100%, maybe tonight. So always pay attention right here. I'll announce it right here. Next Daily Brew, Wednesday at 7:31, 9:19 Eastern. So we'll keep you up to date on that. If we have any big changes in the afternoon, if we go to red 70 or modeling shifts more back west, then we'll probably be live tonight. So, all right. See you later, alligator.